With the right microphone, you can hear a tree die. Not the loud, grinding death from a chainsaw, not the abrupt, jagged death from a windstorm, but the slow, almost silent death from blistering drought due to climate change. I grew up camping in the shade of aspen forests in the West. I remember racing through white trunks, chasing chipmunks with my brother, and fishing in the mountain streams. When I returned to these forests as an adult, so many of them look more like moonscapes, skeletal dead trees reaching into the hot summer skies. These forests are silent, shockingly still. This shift set my career path trying to answer one immensely important question. What is the future of forests? Our fate, health, and prosperity are intertwined with forests. They're habitat for the vast majority of species on this planet. Though we often don't realize it, forests also provide trillions of dollars of benefits to communities through food, fuel, timber, tourism, and more. And, crucially, they affect the speed of climate change itself. Trees take up about a quarter of the carbon dioxide that people emit every year, providing a massive brake on rising temperatures. Will forests continue to do so? Currently, forests across the globe are caught between two opposing sets of forces: the benefits of rising carbon dioxide levels versus the damages of a changing climate. With more carbon dioxide in the air, plants tend to do more photosynthesis. They can grow more and soak up more carbon. This helps slow the pace of climate change. Think of this as the greener, healthier future for forests. But the stresses of climate change, heat, drought, wildfire, and pests can overwhelm the benefits of CO2, driving forests to die off. When trees die, they emit carbon back to the atmosphere. Thus, forest loss accelerates the speed and severity of climate change. We risk losing forests from a number of regions, especially hot and dry places like the Western US, Australia, Southern Europe, and even parts of the Amazon rainforest. This is the browner, deader future for forests. Here in the Western US, we are already dealing with climate change-driven wildfires, droughts, and insect outbreaks. We breathe the smoke from longer and more severe fire seasons. In fact, the average wildfire season is around 3 months longer and burns 6 times as many acres now than in the 1970s. Hotter temperatures both dry out the vegetation that fuels forest fires and lead to more extreme fire weather. This, in turn, leads to longer fire seasons and bigger, more intense fires. From fire scars to drought and beetle-killed forests, if you drive any mountain highway in the Western US, you will see the evidence of climate change. As scientists, we're racing to understand the future of forests. We work to understand the physiology of how trees respond to both carbon dioxide and climate stress to increase their resilience to climate change. This brings us back to how we hear a tree die. When a tree is healthy, it pulls water from the soil to its leaves through tension. Under climate change, a hotter atmosphere evaporates more water from the leaves, and the tree must work harder to pull water from the soil. At a certain point, the stress creates air bubbles, called embolisms, within the tree. A specialized microphone can detect these air bubbles, which sound like popcorn popping. When enough of the system is blocked by air embolisms, the tree dies. It turns out this embolism process has killed many Western aspen forests. We even see signs of drought impacts in Utah's iconic Pando aspen grove. Aspen is a clonal tree where a whole hillside can be the same organism connected by a shared root network. Pando is the largest known organism in the world, spanning over 100 acres and has around 47,000 individual tree stems. It's also been estimated to be at least 10,000 years old, making it the oldest known organism on the planet. This special forest is experiencing drought conditions and climate change-induced embolisms. What can we do to save forests, like Pando? Here are two solutions. First, understanding how trees die from wildfire, drought, and pests allows for forecasting resilience to climate change. Resilient forests are diverse in species, structure, and age. In the West, a blended mix of aspen and conifer species provides better wildfire tolerance because aspen are much less flammable and slow down fires. Forests with more species also weather severe droughts better. Beetles often attack a single or handful of tree species, and we can reduce the risk of outbreaks by cultivating forests with multiple tree species and different ages. Good management is driven by science and local knowledge and considers the future. In many Western US forests, we can increase resilience through selective thinning of dense trees, removing fuels, and prescribed fires. Next time you're hiking and you see piles of brush ready to be burned or removed, you can think, aha, we are reducing climate risk for this forest. Turning to the second solution for saving forests, science is key to unlocking how forests might help us tackle climate change. Using what scientists call nature-based climate solutions, we can grow the carbon uptake and storage in forests. You may have heard of the most common of these: stopping deforestation, increasing tree planting, more agroforestry. When done well, these solutions provide habitat, conserve and restore thriving ecosystems, and benefit local communities. In 2024, the world lost more than a soccer field of forest every second due to deforestation, causing around 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. We need a wide range of nature-based solutions to stem forest loss and restore forests. When done poorly, though, these efforts may give a false impression of sustainability, ultimately delaying the urgent action needed to address climate change. Let me give you an example. To succeed at slowing climate change, the carbon stored in forests has to be durable for a long time. If we plant a forest today, and that forest burns in 5 years, that carbon is back in the atmosphere. We have accomplished very little in tackling climate change. We have to know the risks in any given place. Will they increase with climate change? Can they be reduced with management? Are they adequately considered in policies? Indeed, there is an immense need for the latest science to answer these questions because many forest carbon market programs are struggling with widespread concerns around quality and data. We have to remember that nature is only a modest part of the path to net zero. The vast majority of climate solutions come from reducing fossil fuel emissions. And the faster we reduce emissions, the better for forests. But if we're going to deploy nature to help us, we have to get it right. I return to the aspen forests every summer, often with young scientists and my own children. I am always struck by a deep sense of both urgency and hope. Urgency because climate change is here and it's getting worse. Hope because it is solvable and we are making progress. So many of you around the globe are dedicated to meeting this challenge. We need more people listening to forests. We need more scientists working in labs to understand how to care for forests in our own backyards and around the world. But we also need more microphones for people to amplify climate solutions and increase ambition. Because ultimately, we control our own future. We are the future of forests.